Navigating to the enrollment request page. Here we are logged into SPIRE as Albus Dumbledore. So we will begin our navigation from Albus's Faculty Center. Select Main Menu, Student Enrollment, and finally, Enrollment Request. Enrollment Request, add a new value. The Enrollment Request page defaults to the Add a New Value tab. This makes sense because most of the time, people will be submitting new enrollment requests for students. Notice that the term defaults to the term set in data entry defaults. In this case, we set Albus's default term to 1203 Spring 2020, and that's why it appears automatically on this page. For a user with no default term, the term field will always start out empty. We need an EMPL ID of the student for whom we will be making enrollment requests. If you don't know the student's EMPL ID, no worries at all, for we can simply use the magnifying glass to look up the student's ID and populate the value of this field. There it is. You can look up students in a variety of ways, as you can see from this form. Our example student is Hermione Granger, so we enter her name and click the lookup button. The search results list may return many students, but there is only one Hermione Granger in SPIRE. Whether there are many results or just one, simply click anywhere in the search results to select the correct student. There we go. We click on anywhere in there. Aha! Notice that Hermione's EMPL ID has been entered into the ID field. As mentioned earlier, Hermione's EMPL ID in this training is fake and is not in use at all in SPIRE. It would appear that Hermione is using a fake ID. Next, we click the Add button to go to the enrollment request form for your student. The enrollment request page. After you enter all the fields on the enrollment request Add a New Value page, the following enrollment request page will appear, enabling you to create one or more enrollment requests for the student specified by the ID field. And there it is. Here is something you will probably never see in the wild, as it were. This is the entire enrollment request page, which IRL you will most likely need to scroll up and down to see in its entirety. In the upper left corner, you will see some information about the student. That's important to check to make sure that you are doing enrollments for the person that you are intending. Also, near the top of the form, your user ID will be displayed. Since we are logged in as Albus, we will see Albus's user ID. Once again, neither Albus nor his user ID actually exist in SPIRE. Example 1. Your student wants to enroll in Anthropology 305. This is a straightforward enrollment request with no changes or overrides required. The enrollment request status for this example will be Success. Once again, here is a view of the entire enrollment request form. Let's zoom into the form as indicated by the blue rectangle to make everything much easier to see. In the upper left part of the screen is some information about our student. Under the enrollment request ID, which is 0 for all pending enrollment requests, is our user ID. The enrollment request status always begins as pending. If you have an enrollment request that is pending, it means that you need to click on the Submit button to complete the request. The status for this enrollment is also pending. The enrollment action defaults to enroll. This makes sense because most enrollment requests are to enroll students into classes. The action field is a drop-down with many choices. Enroll, drop, swap courses, change waitlist position, and normal maintenance are all choices that you can use. And during this training, we will go over all of these options. For every enrollment request, you will need the class number. We know our student wishes to enroll in Anthro 305, but we don't know the class number. Luckily, the magnifying glass is awesome. Magnifying glasses appear all over the place in SPIRE, and they are always really great for looking up field values. Here, if we click on the magnifying glass, it will open up a class search page that enables us to look up Anthro 305 and retrieve its class number. The magnifying glass brought us to the class search page. Notice how the course subject defaulted to anthropology because we set our subject area to Anthro in our data entry defaults. If we had not done so, we would have to use the drop-down list to select the correct subject. We know the course number is 305. So we just need to enter 305 into the course number field and click the search button. In this case, the search results return just one class, so we just need to click on the Select Class button for Anthro 305, and the class number will be entered on our enrollment request form. Notice how the class number has been filled in on the enrollment request form, along with some information about the class. It's good to double check to make sure that the correct class has been selected. To complete this enrollment request, just click the Submit button. There is also a Save button on the form, but to process an enrollment request for a student, the Submit button must be used. After the request was submitted, the enrollment request status returned success. The enrollment action is also success. Why are there two statuses on the page? The reason is that you can use the plus sign near the right edge of the screen to create multiple enrollment actions that are all included in the same overall enrollment request for the student. We will talk about that in much greater detail soon. You may notice that an enrollment request ID was also assigned. The enrollment request page has a way to allow users to look up existing enrollment requests, and this ID can be used for that purpose. But there are many other ways that enrollment requests can be looked up also. See that the Send Confirmation button has also just become active. This allows us to send an email to the student to let them know about their enrollments. You may also use the Compose email link to send an email to the student. The link opens up a new email in your email client, for example, Outlook, with the to line already completed with a student's email address, and your email address entered on the CC line, and with an appropriate subject. Here is a big picture view of the entire enrollment request form again, this time with completed enrollment. Please note that the error message area is empty. This is always a very good sign.